I'm James Neville Taylor with the Builderall team. In this video we're going to do an overview of the webinar platform. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about what webinars are and how you can use them. So webinar is basically short for web-based seminar, and they're really good for mid to high ticket products. They convert much better than video sales letters and many other forms of selling. There's many reasons why they convert so well, but the main reason is because they're very interactive with your audience and you can knock down objections as you go. So there's 3 different ways that you can present a webinar. The first way is a completely live webinar in front of a live audience. The second way is on demand. This means that a user can access your webinar whenever they please. They put in their email, they put in their name, and then they can watch the webinar whenever they like. And the third option is scheduled or evergreen webinars. And this is where you make your webinars appear that they're live and set a scheduled time for them to be broadcast. Builderall has a ton of cool features that you can use to make your webinars look like they're live when they're actually not. And we'll go through a few of those in just a moment. So there's lots of different ways that you can use webinars. You can use it for lead generation. You can use it for selling your own products. You can use it to share your knowledge. You can use it to demo products, do online trainings, and much, much more. But the main kind of webinar, and the one that's most common, are sales webinars. And most sales webinars have 3 main parts. The first part is the intro, and this is where you introduce yourself as the expert, or you introduce yourself and let people know why they should listen to you. The second part is the content, and that's the main part of your webinar. This is where you'll deliver the main content and what people came here to learn. So make sure you deliver whatever you promised to people when they were signing up. If you promise the world on your webinar and say that it's going to be absolutely amazing, but it's just a thinly veiled sales pitch, that is the quickest way to lose a lot of followers and tarnish your name. So make sure you deliver really good content and don't overpromise. Over-deliver. The third and final part of most sales webinars is the call to action. So this is your sales pitch if you're selling a product, or if you want them to subscribe to another list or another action. This is where you'll put the call to action right at the end. The majority of sales webinars are around an hour to 2 hours, and you want to set some time aside for questions and answers as well. A very high percentage of sales can be done in the question and answers section afterwards, because lots of people will have concerns, they'll have questions, and you can knock down those concerns and get a much higher conversion rate if you stick around and do a Q&A after the call. Q&A is also really good for feedback. So any questions that you get at the end of your webinar, you can weave into your main presentation and your calls to action. Then next time you can do another Q&A and see what more questions that you get, and get better and better. So it's generally a good idea to do a few live presentations before you schedule it on an evergreen webinar. That way you can get better and better, you can get feedback and answer questions from real people, and then weave that into your presentation to make it better and better. And then once you're confident that it's a really good sales presentation and it's a really good webinar, then schedule it to be evergreen and automated. So there's a number of elements that you can slide into your webinars. You can just do slideshows, you can interact with your audience, you can bring other people on, and you can stream videos from YouTube or Vimeo. So don't be afraid to use other elements on your webinar. Basic slideshows can be boring, so spice it up with a bit of audience interaction and some external elements. So now we've gone over a bit about what webinars are and a few good tips and tricks. We're going to jump to the Builderall webinar platform and show you some of the awesome features. So now we're on the Builderall webinar platform. We're going to create a new webinar, and we can protect it with a password if we only want certain people to watch it. And then we set up our webinar. With the Builderall platform, we can integrate Mailing Boss, the email autoresponder, with the webinar automatically. So we can put the live link that we want people to send to live. We can put a separate link for the recorded webinar after it's finished to be sent out, and then you can put your email signature as well. And this will auto-populate the follow-up for people when they register for your webinar. And next is the content. So you can stream directly from Builderall, or you can use YouTube or an iframe. You can also schedule it, as we talked about, doing automated webinars. So you can have it on demand or start at a certain time. Here you can manage all of your chat. Here you can manage the chat, and you can add ghost users as well. So ghost users are basically phantom users, and you can set the questions that they ask at a certain time, so you can make it look like you're responding to questions when it's actually pre-registered users that you've set up yourself. And then you can see all the statistics here of who attended, who registered, and how far they got through. And you can also calculate all of your financials, how much you made and how much it cost. And then here's where you can hook Mailing Boss autoresponder up to the webinar, and you can also track everything as well. And then here's where you can translate into multiple different languages. You can put the translation in manually yourself, so you can translate it into any language you want. You could even translate it into your own made-up language if you had one. So there's a quick overview of all the features that we have in the webinar platform. So in this video we did a general overview of the webinar platform inside Builderall.